You wake up. The alarm screams too loud. You didn't sleep. You reach to turn it off and accidentally knock your glass of water onto the floor, onto wires, onto papers. You jump up. Wet socks. Everything irritates. And then, your pinky smashes into the corner of the nightstand. A dull, deep pain. As if the whole world is laughing at you. You stay silent. But inside, you explode. In your haste, you spill hot coffee onto your shirt right before leaving. And you catch yourself thinking, perfect. The day is going exactly as planned. But you don't notice, you just launched it. You activated the egregore of negativity. You gave the system a command, I am in minus. And it obeyed. You are an antenna. You only tune into one frequency. And that frequency is low. It pulls everything destructive toward you. The more you react, the more energy you give. The entities are not visible. They make no sound. They do not crawl on ceilings. They live in your reactions. They do not need to scare you. They only need you to lose control. They feed on negative emotion. Residual. Automatic. Unconscious. The moment you began your day with aggression, you became a power source. You think you are angry at people, at circumstances. But the truth is, you are caught in a trap. You are being rocked. You are a battery for the system. This is not metaphor. This is physics. Emotion is energy. And energy flows where there is resistance. When you resist what is, you create friction. And friction generates heat. That heat is what they feed on. You are not the victim of bad luck. You are the generator of their existence. Every time you say, why me? You send a signal. Every time you blame someone, you plug into their circuit. Every time you replay the insult, you recharge the battery. And they are always waiting. Not in shadows. Not in nightmares. But in the quiet space between your thoughts, where you forget who you are. The entities are not demons. They are not ghosts. They are not creatures from folklore. They are not even alive in the way you understand life. They are patterns. Echoes. Vibration fields. Consciousness without form. They exist because you give them form. They have no body. But they live in your emotional residue. When you feel anger, they rise. When you feel bitterness, they gather. When you feel resentment, they anchor. They do not attack you. They attach. Like barnacles on a ship. They do not need to move. They wait. For you to react. For you to remember. For you to believe the story. They are not intelligent. But they are efficient. They do not need logic. They need repetition. They thrive on automatic responses. The moment you say, I can't believe he did that to me, they hear it. They latch on. They amplify. They whisper back, he doesn't care about you. You're not good enough. No one sees you. And you believe it. Because you felt it before. Because the wound is still open. And when you react, you feed them. Not with words. With frequency. With vibration. With the rhythm of your heartbeat when it races. With the tension in your jaw. With the heat behind your eyes. They do not want your body. They want your attention. your belief, your surrender. They are not evil. They are mechanical, like a virus that spreads through silence. They were never meant to be seen. They were meant to be felt and ignored. Until now. Until you asked, "Who am I? And why does this keep happening?" The system does not work through logic. It works through resonance. It does not argue with you. It plays your old recordings. It finds the scar. The memory buried under years of "I'm fine." The betrayal you never processed. The rejection you learned to ignore. The shame you hid behind productivity. The fear you masked with control. The loneliness you named independence. These are not weaknesses. They are entry points. The system does not create new pain. It amplifies old pain. It finds the frequency you've been broadcasting since childhood. And it sends back the same signal, louder. So you think it's real. So you think it's happening now. But it's not. It's replaying. The person who triggered you is not the cause. They are the carrier. They are the mirror. They are the key that fits the lock you forgot you had. You meet someone. They say something small. A tone. A pause. A look. And suddenly, you are 5 years old again. You feel the same helplessness. The same rage. The same silence. Why? Because the entity recognized the signature. It recognized the frequency of your unprocessed wound. And it played the recording. The system doesn't care if the person meant harm. It doesn't care if they're kind. It only cares if your inner program responds. If you cry. If you shut down. If you explode. If you defend. If you justify. If you apologize. If you withdraw. Any reaction is activation. Any response is transmission. You are not being attacked by them. You are being triggered by yourself. And the system uses their voice to speak your pain. That's why after talking to them, you feel drained. Not because they took something from you, but because you gave away something you thought was yours. Your energy. Your peace. Your presence. You didn't lose it to them. You lost it to your own past. And now, you are paying for it again. What to do? Stop. Return to yourself. Admit, I was triggered. But this is not me. This is a script. You do not need to retaliate. You do not need to prove anything. You are not in war. You are in training. Your goal is not to defeat them, but not to lose yourself. You do not have to be soft. But you must be conscious. Your reaction is your reality. Your silence inside is a blow to the system. You become unpredictable. You become free. 1. Observe. Do not get lost. Just watch. Ah. Anger is rising in me. Interesting. Is this me? Or was something activated? Observation nullifies the impulse. Always. When you observe, you step out of the loop. You become the witness. And the witness cannot be controlled. 2. Be silent. Do not answer immediately. Silence cuts the power. Entities live in explosive reaction. When you respond instantly, you hand them your energy like cash. When you pause, you cut the wire. Even 3 seconds of silence breaks the pattern. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to explain. You don't need to justify. Just breathe. Let the wave pass. Don't ride it. Don't fight it. Just let it flow through you and disappear. 3. Breathe. A simple inhale. A slow exhale. Focus on sensation. Returns you to the body. And in the body, there is no space for invasion. The mind is a battlefield. The body is sanctuary. When you return to breath, you return to presence. Presence is the only force they cannot touch. 4. Say to yourself, this is not me. This is a program. The moment you say it, you detach from the script. You reclaim your right to choose. They do not want you to know this. They want you to believe you are your emotion. You are your rage. You are your guilt. You are your fear. But the truth is, you are consciousness. And consciousness can choose. And when you choose not to react, they lose. Not because they die, but because you stop feeding them. And when you stop feeding them, they dissolve. Like mist in sunlight. There is one path that cuts all wires of the system. Not meditation. Not magic. Not protection. It is your presence. When you are within yourself. When you breathe. When you look at the world consciously. Without masks. Without roles. Without pretense. Everything around you changes purity. Entities do not live in high vibration. They cannot reach those who think clearly and feel honestly. They go blind in your light if you do not hide from yourself. Every time you smile sincerely, because you feel good inside. Every time you do good, not for approval. Every time you speak truth, even when afraid. Every time you choose to let go, instead of revenge. Every time you refuse to enter someone else's script, and create your own. Every time you pause, when storm is inside you, you become invisible to the system. And at the same time, the strongest within it. You do not fight. You rewrite. Enlightened are not those who sit on mountains. Enlightened are those who walk among people, and remain themselves in fields of emotion, pain, bitterness, and do not lose focus. This is not about holiness. It is about strength. About no longer renting yourself out. The moment you stop reacting, you stop being predictable. And the system cannot function without predictability. It needs you to fall into patterns. To repeat. To recycle. To reenact. When you break the cycle, you become noise. You become static. You become unreadable. And when you become unreadable, you become untouchable. You are not healing. You are evolving. You are not fixing. You are remembering. You are not becoming better. You are returning to who you were before the script began. Wake up. Every time you feel anger. Every time you feel bitterness. Every time you feel injustice, these are hooks. These are noise. Stop. Breathe. Remember who you are. This entire journey is not a path of defense. It is a path of conscious transformation. You are not a victim. You are a point of creation. You are the force that no longer feeds the system, but creates its own. If you felt this, you are already waking up. The system does not care if you believe in it. It only cares if you react. And every time you choose stillness, you delete a line of code. Every time you breathe before speaking, you reset your frequency. Every time you choose peace over proof, you become untrackable. You are not becoming better. You are returning to what you never lost. You are not healing. You are remembering. And in that remembering, you become untouchable. You will not wake up in one moment. You will wake up in 1,000 moments. In traffic. In meetings. In arguments. In silence. In tears. In laughter. Each time you choose awareness, you weaken the matrix. Each time you choose presence, you strengthen yourself. Each time you choose not to react, you become a beacon. Not for others. For yourself. You are not saving the world. You are reclaiming your sovereignty. And that is the greatest revolution. You are not your emotion. You are not your reaction. You are not your story. You are the awareness that watches it all. And when you stop feeding the entities, they vanish. Not because they were real, but because you stopped believing you were their host. You were never broken. You were never powerless. You were simply asleep. And now, you are awake. And that is the only revolution that matters.